The man who engineered the legal framework for the world's largest democracy was a polymath who mastered economics, sociology, and law. Yet the nation he helped build relied on a system that, for most of his early life, refused to recognize his basic humanity. Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar was born in 1891 into the Mahar community. As this hierarchy shows, the Hindu caste system forced the Mahars to exist at the absolute bottom. Being classified as untouchables functioned as a strict geographical and physical quarantine. The rules dictated exactly where his family could live, what jobs they could perform, and whose shadows they were forbidden to cross. To grasp the sheer scale of the constitution he would later draft, we first have to look at the visceral realities of the world that tried to reject him. As a child attending school in Satara, Ambedkar was barred from sitting at a desk or even touching the classroom floor. He had to bring a piece of gunny cloth from home to squat on in the corner, carrying it back with him every day to avoid polluting the room. He couldn't touch the school's water tap. If the school peon wasn't there to open it and pour the water from a distance, the young boys simply went thirsty, a routine he later summarized with the phrase, "No peon, no water." Once, while traveling to meet his father, Cartming refused to carry him and his siblings. The children were forced to pay double the usual fare just to drive an ox cart themselves, terrified of being stranded. These incidents operated as features of a well-oiled social engine. Ambedkar realized early on that asking for pity or charity from the upper castes would accomplish nothing. The humiliation was structural. He weaponized the only tool available: education. Securing scholarships, he crossed oceans, eventually becoming the first Indian from his background to earn a PhD in economics from Columbia University, followed by a doctorate from the London School of Economics. He acquired these credentials as heavy intellectual artillery, designed specifically to dismantle the social order that had forced him onto a gunny sack. Returning to India, Ambedkar shifted from scholar to militant reformer. His strategy was distilled into a three-word command for the depressed classes: educate, agitate, organize. He orchestrated grassroots rebellions, leading thousands in the 1927 Mahad Satyagraha to physically drink from a public water tank, a basic human act strictly forbidden to untouchables. He escalated the agitation by demanding entry into the Kalaram temple, and in a deeply radical public protest, setting fire to the Manusmriti, the ancient text that provided the religious justification for the caste system. These protests proved a crucial point. Orthodox society would never voluntarily surrender its privileges. Equality had to be hard-coded into the law of the land. When India gained independence, Ambedkar took the fight inside the government, becoming the chairman of the drafting committee for the new nation's constitution. His crowning legal achievement is Article 17. With a single constitutional stroke, the ancient practice of untouchability was legally abolished. As labor minister, he established the 8-hour workday, introduced maternity benefits, and his academic research provided the direct conceptual framework for the Reserve Bank of India. Yet he maintained that political liberty was hollow without social equality. In 1956, in a final act of mass liberation, he and hundreds of thousands of his followers renounced Hinduism and converted to Buddhism. He took the visceral trauma of his childhood and successfully transformed it into the institutional bedrock of a modern welfare state. Today, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is arguably the most commemorated leader in India. His statues appear in nearly every village, a ubiquitous bronze figure pointing the way forward. But this omnipresence has spawned a modern political phenomenon known as competitive appropriation. Virtually every major political faction, from the ruling party to the opposition, now fiercely claims his legacy to court the massive voter demographics that revere him. The irony is sharp. Politicians eagerly drape his image over their campaigns, while ignoring his uncompromising radical critiques of religious orthodoxy and economic exploitation. This leaves India wrestling with a critical question: is the nation honoring his actual ideology, or merely a sanitized, politically convenient version of the man? As long as deep social and economic inequalities persist, Ambedkar's radical demand for structural justice remains the country's most urgent unfinished business.